Hello, are you there? Good morning. Getting started in a few minutes. Hey, Linda. Hey, Marcia. I'm on now. See if there are any questions. Hey, Cherise. Nika, I see a bunch of y'all. This is great. Good morning. Are there any questions about anything that we've talked about over the last few weeks that you would like for me to kind of address, or are there any stories of victory, success that you want to share? Hey, Desmond, I see you. Alex, Kareem. Good morning. Sophia, I hope you found the cheese that you needed, that you were looking for. Hey, Naomi, praying that everything happens. Kareem Dixon, you might need to respell the letters for the website. I'm on it all the time. Lifestyle, one word, therapeutics, THERAPEUTIX.com. And I'm sure my husband can type that in for you. Oh, I can do it while I'm sitting here. And the website should come up. LifestyleTherapeutics.com. Here you go, Kareem. And sometimes you can just click on it. You're going to try Daya. Okay, Sophia, did you try the smoked Gouda slices? I'm not a real fan of the Daya unless it's the slices. I just don't like the Daya unless it's the slices. But the Follow Your Heart shredded and the Follow Your Heart smoked Gouda and pepper jack are delicious. So you might want to try that. I didn't know there was a Publix brand. Hey, Cheryl. How are you? We're almost ready to start. Hi, Yvette. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend. We're talking about the power of water this morning in our lives. Let me see. Any more questions? Okay. Last week in our monthly class, we talked about cheese and suggested some alternatives for people. Good morning, my friend, Sister Vivian. And pretty much shared that there's some really great options for people now. And some of the people, hey, Johnny Whitson, I'm glad to see you. Some of the people in our class are actually making their own cheeses. I used to do that years ago out of cashews. And there's some really good recipes that are available now. I'm not sure if my sis is online, but what I will do is look for the name of one of the books. And of course, you can always Google them, go to Pinterest. Cheryl tried the fried cauliflower from Vegan But With Soul yesterday. Linda, Mims, Bartholomew, and Jackie Sylvester and I were talking about it and how good it was. We tried it for my husband and I as well, too. And then this week, what he did was to take the cauliflower and fry it again. And then he made gravy and put the gravy over the cauliflower and serve that in place of chicken over rice. And the responses to that has been really good as well. Let me see what else is going on here. I see you, Deetra and Sherry. The Robinsons are here. Good morning. Sunflower cheese, Ruth Butler is saying, is also good. And there are a bunch of nut cheeses now that are available in the grocery store. I haven't tried any of those either. I usually try stuff so that I can share it with clients when I'm talking to them. But I don't always do it because I found what works for my family and we're fine with it. We actually love it. Have done a bunch of stuff. We had mac and cheese yesterday. My mac and cheese recipe actually is on the on our website, Lifestyle Therapeutics. There's a link to it, and on our YouTube channel you can see it, and it's also on stillshouting.com. Good morning, Denise Anderson. I see you, Lyra. Good morning. Okay, so there are no questions. Seems like everybody is doing well. We're glad to know that. I'm hoping that you are sharing your successes and the information that we talk about here on Sunday mornings with other people. Hey, Annie, almond cheese. Okay, the Monday class. I'm not sure. Viv, the only class that I'm doing is the one that's here online on Sunday morning. Hey, Annie. Neil Carney. Hey, Denise from Carolina. Good to see you. Okay, 7:30. Let's get started. Ran into a young lady at a Whole Foods searching for vegan alternatives. Okay, that's awesome. If you see people who need some suggestions, I would love for you to share the information. And hopefully I can make some connections with them. A lot of times in a number of years, in the past years actually, I have done some online counseling with people, especially women who had breast cancer and had heard about me or just found me and needed some information about that. So I'm happy to connect with people who are interested or need some things. In addition to that, those of you who have paid and registered for this class have the ebook, and you can definitely share that resource with other people. I mentioned it. I did a workshop on this past Friday. Good morning, Sister Norman, with Huntsville Hospital, and we were talking about diet and lifestyle. And as I was speaking to some of the participants, when I mentioned that there was an ebook, they were real excited about the ebook. So feel free to share the ebook as a resource for people that you run into as well. Okay, we're talking about water this morning. Hey, Miss Phyllis, I see you, Aaliyah. Banana muffins were delicious last Sunday, yay. And she also made the banana pudding. That's Ingrid Robinson. And I don't know if you saw the pictures, but Linda Mims Bartholomew didn't have bananas in her home. So she used apples and made apple muffins. And she said they were extremely moist. Her family absolutely loved them. And so I'm really excited to see that you can do these sorts of things quickly and enjoy them and share them with other people. We're talking about water this morning. Those of you who have the book, of course, have a few more details. And I wanted to share some things that you're familiar with. Then we're going to talk about some other things. We all understand that our bodies are 60% water. So if we were to just stand up straight and do a measurement, it would probably come somewhere up by our rib, right under our arm, as far as the percentage is concerned of water that makes us up. Our muscles are 75% water, our bones are 20% water, and our blood is 90% water. In the morning when we get up, my husband gets up before me, but whenever we get up, one of the first things we do is drink water. And this is literally the cup that I have in my bathroom that accommodates 24 ounces of water. One of the first things that I hear from people when we're talking about increasing their consumption of water is, it's gonna make me pee. Well, that's the point. And if it makes you go to the bathroom a lot more than you're used to going to the bathroom, that means that your body is not used to this amount of fluid, and your kidneys are doing their job of ridding the body of toxins. And as the kidneys adjust, you won't have to go to the bathroom as much. Throughout the day, then, my husband and I continue to drink water. And I like to do it in 24-ounce containers, so I'm certain that I'm getting 3 cups of water at a time. So I start this one in the morning, and then my husband and I have found some other, this is one of those bubble ones that I got from Walmart, where you can live better and live more, save money. And it is also 24 ounces, I believe. And this is what I take to sip through the day. It keeps your water cold in the summertime. If you need to have something warm, this is one. We invested in 4 of these so that we would always have access to one to drink it through the day. And so essentially I drink about 10 to 12 cups, 8-ounce cups of water a day, which would mean do about 3 or 4 of these, depending on how the day goes. And it was a challenge when I first started doing it, because I used to drink a lot of soda and a lot of juice. But once I started doing it, it was much easier to do, and my body was able to adjust to it. And because the blood is 90% water, it would just reason with me right now. Many people who have problems with urination, with constipation, whose blood pressure is high, who perhaps even have heart disease because of atherosclerosis, if you look at how they eat and live, sometimes just consuming more water is going to help the blood to thin out, move that pressure down, and help with the reversal of some situations. Another place where it's exceptionally well is right now, those of us who are being exposed to the flu and other colds, when we are drinking plenty water, all of the membranes in our body stay nice and moist, and that helps in fighting when we are exposed to bacteria and viruses. A lot of times this time of year, the houses are heated, and so you wake up in the morning and your throat is dry, your nose is dried out. That can be because you have just dehydrated the room. So making sure you get enough water during the day is important. And then one thing that we have also done is to put water in our bedroom through one of the hydrators that you can buy at a store. If you don't have one of those, Walmart has some good ones. If you don't have one of those, you can literally take a pot of water and put it in the room. And we heat it before you go so that it's steaming. And then we sometimes add eucalyptus to it. And that helps with breathing and keeping things open and moist. And it's just that simple. In addition to that, we know that water helps digestion. It moves nutrients throughout the body. It filters things. It is important for lubrication. It maintains our body temperature. And it prevents the delay of some other problems if you have the water. I set up earlier this morning talking about constipation. One of the challenges when you start eating a more plant-based diet, and I've seen this across social media platforms with people having problems, is now I'm farting all the time. What in the world is going on? Well, when you start to eat a diet that is higher in plants, you are bringing in fiber that is starting to brush the digestive system, your intestinal intestines. And as it brushes through it, it's like getting a workout. If you're in the habit of not eating a lot of them, or you're eating a lot of processed foods, and then you add the plant foods, your intestines are getting a workout that they haven't had for years. And as they start to work out, one of the side effects of that is more gas. So what we tell people to do is to drink plenty water, because as the fiber leaves the small intestine and goes to the large intestine to form a stool, it needs water to bulk the stool up. And if you're not drinking enough water, you're going to run into a problem. And it's just so simple to do. The other thing we tell people to do is exercise, and then to actually sit in a tub of water. And I'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. My experience with the benefits of water externally began in '96 when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And you know that I was encouraged to do as much of the chemotherapies and traditional treatments as possible, because my prognosis was extremely poor. So the recommendation of chemotherapy, stem cell transplant, more chemotherapy, radiation, and tamoxifen was what I had to decide to do. And as I began to research things, the point of chemotherapy is to kill the cancer, which it does. But what it lacks is the ability of your body to help the immune system, because as it kills the cancer, it is also negatively impacting the immune system. And so as I began to research other things that I could do, of course, the diet, the exercise, all of that. But when I decided to go to Wildwood Lifestyle Center and Hospital for my care, one of the treatments that they did was what we call hydrotherapy. And my husband graduated from Tuskegee, and he learned at Tuskegee the value of hydrotherapy, which is water therapy. And one of the ways for you to understand it really quickly is when we're watching basketball games, or for those of you all who may still be watching football, you know, did not decide that you weren't going to watch it. If you're watching those events and somebody is injured, one of the first things that they do is call the specialist from the side, and they like to put ice on it. And the ice pack that they put on there constricts blood vessels and helps the swelling to go down and not, you know, become ridiculous. And so the use of water externally, we know how important it is inside, 6 to 8 minimal cups per day. If you weigh more than you should, you need to be drinking half of your body's weight in ounces. So if you're 200 pounds, you need to be drinking 100 ounces of water per day, and you can figure that out. But externally, it's just so amazing to me the benefits that go into using it. So when I went to Wildwood, there were several treatments that I learned there that were of extreme value to me. The one that was my cancer therapy is what we call a hot water treatment or a fever treatment. As we're going through this season now and people are catching the flu, one of the first signs of the flu is that you have a fever. And when your body senses that you've been exposed to something that you don't need to have, it sends messages to the white blood cells and you spike a fever. And as the fever is spiked, white blood cells come out to fight the disease. And we work hard at breaking the fever, but in reality, the fever is our friend because the white blood cells have been alerted in order to kill what's going on. And we look forward to when the fever breaks. So when I was a patient at Wildwood, the first treatment that they gave me was the hot water treatment or the fever treatment. And they put me in water that was pretty warm in a deep tub. And they had me sit in the water and they kept checking my temperature. They were trying to get an oral temperature that went high. And I'm asking them, well, why are you doing this to me? Because when your body has cancer in it, the cancer cells have bypassed the protective system and they've gotten inside the body and now they're growing and they're doing damage to the system. So what we want to do is signal to the white blood cells that something is going on so that the white blood cells will come out. So we are going to artificially induce a temperature so that the white blood cells are signaled and they come out and fight. And so that was my kind of chemotherapy treatment where we are fighting the disease using the body's own circulatory system. And literally, I would go in there every day, every other day, sit in that tub. They would bring my body temperature up. They wanted to keep the temperature up. I think it was like to 101 or 102. They wanted to keep it up for about 30 minutes. Once I got out of the water, then I would go and lay down and I would get a massage and I would just rest and relax. And then I would go back to my room and sleep because having a fever treatment like that really kind of wipes the body out and you have to recover. We use that in our home whenever we've been exposed to a virus. For the last couple of weeks, we caught something from somebody and my husband does the fever treatment and it really does make a difference. The other treatment that they gave me, my cycle came on while I was there. And so they actually gave me 3. They took a hot water bottle and put it across my pelvis and put my feet in warm water. And as that occurred, I could literally feel the aching in my abdomen and my lower back start to go down my legs to my feet. And this was opening up the blood vessels and relieving the pain that I was experiencing. And I didn't have the problem anymore. Then the other one that they do is something that's called an allergy treatment, which is like a hot and cold shower. And I hope as we're talking through these things, you can say that you can actually use some of these things and share them with other people. I understand Jorge Bartholomew is on the call. Good morning, my friend. Glad to have you join us. Okay, so when you do the hot and cold treatment, the same thing occurs. And my husband now uses this therapy with his diabetic patients, and I'm going to tell you about that in a second. But when you do the hot and cold treatment, you have the water as hot as you can stand it, and you're in the water for 3 minutes, and then you turn the water to as cold as you can stand it, and you do that for 30 seconds. So you're doing a contrast of hot and cold. And we do that. This is one of the best ways without having to get into the hot water every day, is to do the hot and cold shower every day. After you've showered off, finished soaping, cleaning, then you turn the water to as hot as you can stand it for 3 minutes, then you turn it to cool for 30 seconds, and you will start to feel the cool. Don't go all the way cold because you won't finish it. So start it to cool, and then you go back and forth for 3 cycles. And the first thing that I noticed when I did it at Wildwood, they have you standing in the shower stall, and you have 12 nozzles so that you're getting this water spray from 4 directions, and the person outside is controlling the temperatures. So they had the hot water, and I'm like, okay, I'm enjoying this. And then the cold water came on, and I'm like, okay, I want to get out of this shower. but it was only for 30 seconds, and then they went back to the hot. They did this hot and cold. And some of the first things I noticed were my skin started to redden, my breathing started to change, and my heart rhythm went up. And I'm thinking, what have they done? They have just literally used water to manipulate the circulatory system. So they've improved my circulation, which means my bowels should improve. The hot and cold water also does the same thing as hot water does to increase the white blood cells and the red blood cell count, which was important to me. And if my circulation is improved, then that means points in my system that are being challenged because of poor circulation are now going to have better circulation. Once that is done, then I went and rested again to recover from it. And this is something that you can do every single day, year round, but it's especially good in the wintertime because that helps your immune system to be at its best because you're increasing white blood cell count, red blood cell count. And so when you're exposed to something, you have all of the defenses that you need. Now, my husband, as a physical therapist in our clinic, when patients come to us who have diabetic neuropathy, who have peripheral vascular disease, who may have chemotherapy-induced peripheral neuropathy, and that's neuropathy that comes on because of the chemo and the effects of the chemo, he has been able to use the contrast bath with his patients, and many of his patients who come in have no feeling up as high as their knees, sometimes their thighs, and he tests the bottom of their foot to see if they can sense that he's actually touching the foot. And it's interesting to us, sometimes patients will be laying on the mat and he's touching their foot and they're saying, okay, have you started touching yet? Because they can't feel anything. And through a combination of the therapy that he provides them, that includes the hydrotherapy, exercise, massage, in combination with the lifestyle changes that I'm recommending to patients, we have patients who cannot walk, cannot feel the floor, are unable to sleep through the night because of the severe pain that they're in because of neuropathy. And within 8 to 12 weeks, many of the patients have total recovery and are able to feel the floor. And I was telling a patient on Friday, a potential patient, that patients kind of hobble in on a cane and they dance out because of the way that their bodies are improved through the use of this physical therapy, which addresses the circulatory problems from the outside in. And then when they make better dietary choices, especially eliminating or reducing the consumption of foods that are high in fat, high in sodium, high in cholesterol, and increasing the amount of foods that are high in water and good nutrients and the good fat, the body turns the system around. And they not only get better results with the neuropathy issues, but they also start to see improvement with their blood sugar levels, with their hypertension levels. Some of our patients who have continued to do this literally have seen improvement with organs like their kidneys, pancreas are working. Patients who are on insulin are able to cut or eliminate their insulin. And many patients through their physicians literally have been able to get off their medications. And so we recommend the use of hydrotherapy. It's something that needs to be done under the supervision of a physical therapist or a medical professional, because when you have a disease that has progressed that far, you cannot feel the difference in temperature, and you could burn yourself or hurt yourself. So this isn't anything that you want to try at home. But if you're in the area and you know someone or you yourself are experiencing this problem, get a referral from your physician. We would love to see you and treat you at the offices of Lifestyle Therapeutics, where a lot of things can be improved. The other treatment is warm water. As I began to embrace a healthier lifestyle, at the time, I had relaxer in my hair. And it was so funny. When I was teaching at Oakwood, you know, those young people, they don't play. And I'm in there talking about the values of healthy living and all that. And so they're like, but you still have that crack in your hair, Miss Goodman, right? And I'm like, yeah, because I'm not quite ready to get rid of the crack, but y'all pray for a sister. And so when I still had the crack in my hair, I would, every week, I would get my hair done on Friday morning. So on Thursday night, I would treat myself to a hot bath or a warm bath. So your hot bath is what stimulates things. If you're having trouble sleeping, then you need to do a warm bath. And if you're constipated, when you drink your water through the day, that's going to help with the process of digestion. And as you drink the water through the day, things will change. But at nighttime, when you're ready for bed, if you get inside a bathtub of warm water, and I like to add Epsom salts to it and eucalyptus, and now the Epsom salts have so many different scents and ingredients in them, so you could get ginger or eucalyptus. They've added charcoal to it, and you sit in that water as warm as you can stand it, and then it'll start to cool down if you want to be stimulated. But if you just want to relax and get ready to go to bed, then just do a warm bath for about 20-30 minutes, and you may have to keep adding warm water to it as you're sitting there because it's going to cool off. But one of the first things I noticed when I was at Wildwood, and I'm asking them as I'm sitting in this water for cancer treatment, it's like, why are my intestines gurgling? I don't understand. And here's the second thing that you can do. If you're having trouble with constipation, hemorrhoids, ladies may be having troubles with their periods, those of you who are still menstruating, by getting down inside of this tub of warm water. The warm water stimulates circulation, especially to the digestive system, the pelvis area. And sometimes, as I spoke to the experts at Wildwood, sometimes they had to stop a treatment on a patient because the patient had to get up out of the water to have a bowel movement. And so I know that many times we take things externally to help to move the bowel, and you can do that if you like. I see you, Shoshana. I'm so glad that you're here this morning. But some things that you can do is just drink the water internally and take a nice warm bath. And so after I came back from Wildwood, my husband and son understood that on Thursday night, don't bother me. I'm in the bathtub. I have my music playing. I have my candles going on. And then because my husband is a physical therapist, I was also able to continue the massage after the treatment. And that literally, of course, helps to improve circulation. The lymph system is stimulated, and it helps to continue to rid the body of toxins that the body is already working on. So those are some things that you can do. You're destroying toxins. You are improving elimination. You're increasing the red and white blood cell count. It reminds me of the story in the Bible where Naaman the leper came to Elijah. He needed help, and he told him to go dip in the water 7 times. And I've always wondered, why did God send him to water? In the New Testament, Jesus spat in something and he put it on the eyes, the use of water. Another treatment that I learned as a child, and this is a very simple one that you could do. I don't have a cloth in here with me. I should have brought one. But if you have a, it's like a poultice. If you have a washcloth, take the washcloth, put it in ice cold water, and then bring it out, and then put this around your neck, all the way around the back of the neck, and then you take a dry towel and put that on top of it, and the cold water is going to tell the body system that something's going on at the throat that needs to be addressed. And what we used to do was take a nice warm shower, put this on the body with the dry towel on top of it, drink a nice cup of tea, and go to bed and sleep. And this would be if our throat was sore, itchy, whatever. And in the morning when we woke up, nature is just so amazing. The body recognized that there was a poultice in place. As the poultice is there, it draws the blood to the area where the injury or the problem is. And in the morning when we woke up, the wet towel on our neck was bone dry, and our throat didn't have the problem that it had the night before, because the body now is pulling the blood cells to the system to fight the problem that you have there in your system. And you know, if you hurt your leg, you put a wrap around it. If you look through the internet, you can see a lot of people who put potatoes and I think cabbage leaves and stuff. The concept is it's a poultice, and what you're doing is to help the body circulation. I uploaded a picture earlier before we got started today about the content of foods as far as it relates to constipation. And if you look at that, I don't know if you can see it now, but you might be able to look at it later on after the call is over. In that picture, there was a list of foods, and it was comparing the percentage of water in the foods. Our bodies are 60% water. And when you look at this, most of the foods that have percentages of water very similar to what our body has are plant-based foods. So drink the water, eat the plant-based foods, and watch your body change itself. And as I have said in a previous conversation, while breast cancer is what brought me on this journey, as I began to make changes relative to the breast cancer, so many other body systems were benefited by it. And that's something that you can do as well. Somebody is saying here, my teacher is saying she's done the hot and cold showers year round for 30 years, and it really has helped her miss the plague. One of our former employees, Shaquela Green, uses water therapy on her children, and it works effectively. You can't beat it. It don't cost you nothing at all to do it. And if you think about it, I remember as a little girl, when my grandma used to come home from work, if her feet were hurting, the first thing she'd do is sit on the chair and somebody would bring her a pot of warm water to put her feet in. So historically and culturally, these things are a part of who we are, and we don't probably know why it works, but it works because our circulatory system is what is being stimulated to do what it's supposed to do. And so I'm hoping that you don't just drink the water, replace all that other crap you're drinking with water. If you like herb teas, because if you're drinking tea or coffee, all those things are caffeinated. And of course, those are dehydrating to you. But if you like the flavor of tea, look in the store for whatever kind of herb tea that you can find. And if you sweeten it with stevia, you don't have to worry about any calories, and you can use that as your water. As a matter of fact, as a patient at Wildwood, part of the water that I was to drink every day were the herbs that they were prescribing for me. And for those of you who are medical professionals, there's a PDR reference for herbal medicine that is scientifically sound and recommends things that medical professionals can do for their patients as far as helping them to improve their health outcomes. So stop drinking the crap, drink the water internally. What kind of water do I recommend? The purest water that you can find. I'm equal opportunity like Jesus was, and I'm not about to tell you that you have to buy some expensive water or the keep going someplace unless you can afford it, where you're getting water that's filtered. Get the purest water that you can afford. In our home, we use filters on our water bottles. We use filter in the refrigerator. My husband uses a filtered container that he pours his water in, and that is the best that we can afford at this time. We also live in the country where we have a well, and eventually what we want to do is hook the well into our house so that we're getting fresh well water. And of course, we could put a filtration system. Charcoal is one of the best filters that you can use. Deidre is saying she loves the lavender Epsom salt. Girl, I tried that ginger Epsom salt and I was like, I don't want to get out of here. I don't want to get out of here. Hello, Claricia. I see Deborah Evans. Denise is sharing this information. Thank you so much. Hey, Isaiah Joy, my colleague. Yes, onions will work because what you're doing is putting a poultice on the body and the body recognizes it and it starts to respond. Let me see. Hey, Sandy. Your weakness is coffee, Sophia. What you want to do is start diluting it, drinking decaffeinated coffee, and then moving towards water, and then look for non-coffee coffee substitutes. Roma is one of them, and there's another one that is available in your health food stores. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Let me step out of the camera for a second. Let's see if I have it here in the cabinet. Oh. And yes, I do. This is another brand, Ticino, that's available at almost all your health food stores. And this one you can actually roast if you want to do it like you are traditionally doing coffee. And the more that you do it, the better that you're going to feel. And that's what this is all about, being on a journey to better health. Whatever water you can afford is the water that you buy. Pero is another one that's really good. Roma is a good one. Ticino is a good one. And a lot of us grew up on something called Postum, which is more expensive now, but it is also an option as available for you as well. Okay, then, you know what time it is. It's time for me to go. That 30 minutes went by real fast. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, you need to do that. Lifestyle Therapeutics. You can go to our website, lifestyletherapeutics.com, where you can literally see some other videos, find some interesting health articles, and you can get the books, Something to Shout About, Cooking Up Good Health, and I have recently updated Cooking Up Good Health to an ebook that's available in iBook format or PDF format. We want you to tell other people about these changes that you are making and how they're changing your life. And this week, for the next week, between now and next week when we get together, I want you to try some of these hydrotherapy things internally. If you're drinking coffee, dilute your coffee some. If you're not drinking any water and you can't drink 12 cups of water, do 6 cups of water through the day. When you first get up, between your meals, and before you go to bed. And your kidneys and bladder, they're going to adjust to it. Tell somebody else about what you've learned and see how it can benefit them. And then when we get together on next Sunday, I'm going to want to hear what happened. Okay? Because God's greatest wish for us, hey, my Brittany, God's greatest wish for us is that we prosper and be in good health. And he didn't say that you had to pay for it to get it, because he comes to give things to us freely. And if we make the choices, what we're really doing is honoring what he's already put in place. And when you honor that, then you get the blessings that he has promised. I hope you have an amazing week. I thank you for your time and for joining us. Share the video, send people to the links, be a living example of how people can make changes in their lives and recover the health that they know that they're supposed to have, and how they can be a blessing to other people. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.